Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. My name is Sarah and I am a first-time mum to a 9-month-old baby girl called Sophia. In today's video, I'm going to be taking you through Sophia's day of what she eats as a 9-month-old who is weaning, and also talking you through the process in general and how we started, that kind of thing. If that sounds like something you want to watch, then please hit that subscribe button and let's get started. First of all, I'm going to take you through our day for breakfast. My dog is shaking a toy in the background. I do apologise. There's always something going on in my videos, isn't there? Rosie! What's that? Sophia now has 3 good meals a day: breakfast, dinner, tea. Or if you're from somewhere else, not other than the north, then breakfast, lunch, dinner, I guess. And she does really well with those meals. She is eating a lot more than she used to. She also has 3 bottles a day. She is a formula-fed baby, and she has 7 ounces per bottle. She tends to have one an hour after she's woken up, around 3 o'clock, and then just before bed. I did recently do a whole other video on our daily routine, so I'll link that below if you're interested. I'm going to show you the clips now from what she ate in the day, and then I'll come back to the questions. We are still in our pyjamas because it's breakfast time, and Sophia today is having banana egg pancakes.
Now that I'm looking back, I can see all the signs I tried to fill in the cracks that were spread in my mind, but I was all out of hope, lost in an endless maze. The emptiness had unfolded just like a void, but you broke the coldness somehow and lit up a flame. And ooh, I was done feeling hopeless, screamed out loud because it felt impossible in my bones, like getting blood out of the stone on my own. But you came around and removed the thorn in my soul. You guided me.
That is one done. The other's just cooking. I cut them into fingers. I'm just going to let them cool, and I've also cut up a clementine. I've cut each segment into half, and I'm going to give her some of this and some water while she's waiting. Oh, Daddy's there. Okay, that's cooled.
Remember the first up, we can make that pie.
Ooh. I'm just going to give her 1 pancake because I think that'll be quite a lot otherwise with the clementine as well. So I will have the other one. Say happy breakfast. Is that yummy?
No.
Yeah, or was that a no? Well, your actions are saying otherwise. Just shove these pancakes in your mouth. They're really good because they're soft and she can literally just put them in her mouth, eat them. She doesn't have teeth, so they're easy for her to eat. And they are nutritious and delicious. The girl loves her water. Oh, and she always drinks too much too quickly. We are heading out for lunch today. So I'm going to have lunch out, but I always like to bring a packed lunch for Sophia just in case there's nothing on the menu, or sometimes the kids' food is like just not really what she'd eat yet, so it's a bit too much for her, and sometimes they're really expensive and you think, I'm not paying that when most of it's going to end up on the floor. So I'm making her a packed lunch and I'll show you what I'm doing for her. We've got this bread. It is Super Seed Farmhouse from either Aldi or Lidl. We shop at both, so one of those. Hummus. This is just a classic hummus, but my goodness, the girl loves hummus. I'm gonna try these. These are Aldi Mamia organic sweet corn rings. She's not had these ones yet, but she loves the other style of these, you know, the carrot ones, things like that. They're from 7 months plus. They're just great for her to munch on. And her beloved blueberries. The girl eats, she could eat this full punnet of blueberries. Well, this isn't a full one actually, but she could eat a full punnet of blueberries, no problem, and still want more. She loves them. And I will put a little bit of unsalted butter on the bread. And I will do 2 slices, and I'll show you what I'll do. I cut the crust off and cut them up because she doesn't have teeth, as I said earlier. So if I give her it with the crust on, she just can't really eat it. So literally just do little soldiers for her. It makes it nice and easy. I've just washed the blueberries, and I just thought I'd say that I always squish the blueberries before she eats them because it's going to be safer, isn't it, for choking. So I think with baby-led weaning, the thing to remember is preparation. They can eat whatever you have, except for the things they're not supposed to, like honey. I mean, I've never tried it with things like shellfish or anything like that, or ham because it's too salty, anything high in salt. As long as you prepare it like sausages, just cut them into like quarters so they're just long and thin, because I did a first aid course on it basically, and she was saying that like she had this thing, this tube, so the baby's windpipe is, I don't know, let's say like that big, so obviously anything that's cut into that shape like a sausage would block it. So a blueberry like this, I suppose, could potentially block it. She's had grapes, we've just quartered them, so they're really, really thin, really small. It's also good for her like fine motor skills and her pinching, which will eventually be good for things like writing when she needs that grip and all of that. So yeah, don't be afraid to do baby-led weaning. Equally, if you don't want to, like, you know, it's each to their own, each person's decision, but I'm just saying if it's something you want to do but you're a little bit scared of it, it's all about preparation, how you cut the foods, and obviously supervision. This is the portion size I've given her for the grapes, for the blueberries as well. These little pots are really handy for things like fruits and things like that, just to see my hand. Look, it's quite small, but you fit a fair few in, but I think that's enough for her.
Life is a winding road.
Final meal of the day. We've got duck and broccoli. No carbs with this one, but you did have carbs earlier, didn't you? And we'll give you some pudding. So this is your first bit. Oh, you love broccoli, don't you? And obviously water. Has Daddy done a good job? What do you think of duck, Sophia? Not sure. Not sure about duck, are you? And we like to eat with her, so we can model how to eat, although we obviously don't eat with our fingers. But that's okay, you're still learning. I also gave her a bit of my red pepper, but she's never keen on pepper, but I'll keep trying with it. This is Sophia's pudding. Full fat Greek yogurt with the inside of a fig. This is where I struggle with the baby-led bit because I just don't know if I want to give her it. It'll end up on the floor on your head. Won't it? It's nice though, isn't it? So that was her day of food. I'm going to answer a couple of questions now that I put out to you guys to answer on Instagram. So the first one is, how much would she eat in the beginning? Not a lot. Not a lot at all. Literally just a couple of bites to begin with. Most of it ended up on the floor or in her hair. She wasn't sure what to do with it. Although she did have quite a good instinct. Obviously, one of the signs that babies are ready to wean is the hand to mouth coordination. So she was at the stage where she wanted to put everything in her mouth anyway. A lot of the food she'd just play about with in her mouth and like roll it around with her tongue and then just kind of spit it out. It was more about playing with the food and getting the different textures. Another one then is, how did I get started? Well, I went straight in with finger foods. I didn't touch puree at all, and the reason is I'm just super lazy. I just couldn't be bothered to puree everything. It just sounded like a massive hassle and I just didn't really want to do that. I think the very first food I gave her was, I think it was carrots. Yeah, it was carrots. I know they say not to start with sweet foods or whatever, and carrot is a sweet vegetable, but it's got no influence on Sophia. She'll eat anything. So I'd started with carrots and I just did them in little batons and I soft boiled them, like boiled them so they were soft. Yeah, she just chomped on them and really, really liked them. I definitely overcooked them so that they were really, really soft and kind of melted in her mouth. We also tried banana, and a good tip for bananas, when you get the top of the banana, if you put your thumb or finger in the top, it kind of splits it into three ways, I think, and then you can make them like the little batons. And again, they're nice nice and soft, so she can sort of swallow and munch on them. But broccoli, she absolutely loved broccoli. I think it's the little heads. She found them really easy to eat, and she could kind of get her gums around them and pull the little broccoli bits off. That was a good one, and I knew she was eating that because it would end up in her poop. Sorry, Sophia, you're gonna hate me for that. But I knew she was eating it, so that was a good one. We also did courgettes because my husband, Joe, has an allotment, and he had loads of courgettes at that time. She had a lot of courgettes because she just loved it. She could basically suck off the courgette bit and leave the skin. I don't know, that's probably not the right terms. And then we went from there. We tried sweet potato fairly early on, and she loved that. I didn't try anything like sandwiches or meat. We didn't try for a few weeks in, and it took her a while to get used to the texture of meat. I think we started with some kind of minced meats, like in a spaghetti or something, and then she just started to have what we had. And then a month or so in, we tried her with some mild spices. We like very spicy food, so we'd put a little bit aside and give her like a spicy thing, a little bit of spice, and she liked it. Fish took her a while to get used to. We tried fish quite early on, like white fish. All the meatier type textures, it took her, I'd say, three weeks to get used to it, but just keep persevering. I can't remember the exact amount, but is it 10 or 20 times they need to try something before they like it? So keep trying with it. If they spit it out first, it doesn't mean they're never going to like it. It's just new to them and they're getting used to it. Okay, another question then is, does Sophia suddenly go off foods that she's previously loved? I don't think so, no. I can't think of anything that she's really gone off. I suppose the only thing is bananas. She'll have them mashed up. She'll have them flavouring things, like flavouring yogurts or in her porridge. But she's not as keen on them on their own. Like if I give her the little sticks, the banana sticks, she's just not as interested in it. But she seems to like the flavour, so I don't really know if it's a texture or what, but yeah, that's the only thing that she's not as keen on now, but she did really like at the beginning. Some of her favourite foods are blueberries, as I've already mentioned, strawberries. She loves fruit. I think she's got a sweet tooth. She loves hummus. She still loves courgette. She's not as keen on cheese. Like, I think it's a bit hard for her unless we grate it. We did sausage casserole. She loves sausages. And we did a lentil sausage casserole last night, I think, or the night before, and she loved it. She loves sausages. Anything she can really get in her hand, she loves. I do find it harder with sloppy food, because she can't really use a spoon unless you guide her, and even when you guide her, she manages to tip the spoon upside down just before it gets to her mouth, so then when she puts it in her mouth, it's empty. So I do have to help her with things like that. If I do give her porridge, I don't tend to just leave it on her plate and let her go for it, because she'll just tip the bowl everywhere. What I try and do is scoop a bit on and guide it to her, and then sometimes she can do it herself, sometimes she needs help. But she doesn't mind being fed. She's like a little baby bird. She just goes, oh, and just like leans forward to it. The final thing I want to talk about before moving on then is ready-made foods and snacks and things. I do have some of those. I have basically a basket that I keep with things like, I've already showed you them, the Mamia, is that how you say it, crisps, and the biscotti biscuits, and there's little carrot puff sticks in there. And we do have some ready-made puree meals from things like Heinz. Yeah, Mamia again, they're really good. And that is because sometimes if I'm going somewhere and I panic that she's not going to have anything and I haven't prepared anything, it is just easier to stick a pouch in and go from there. She's on the stage 2 anyway, like if she has them now, they're 7 months plus, so they're a bit more textured. That is very, very rare. That's not very often at all, but I do like to have them in for peace of mind. They're the only purees I have used on her. I've never actually made a puree for her myself. We do just give her what we're having. The only times we haven't is if we've had like a tea disaster, like a dinner disaster, and it's not been ready on time or something, and she's getting hungry, and we just give her one of those and she's happy with it, and I know they're okay for her. There's nothing nasty in them. Do what you want to do with it. I mean, you know, it's your baby, so your way of doing it, whether it's puree or baby led. There's so much information out there. There's so many books available. I didn't use any books. The only books I got given were puree ones, and when I was reading it, I thought this looks a lot of effort, I'm not doing it. So that's when I decided to go baby led, and I pretty much just went online, looked at what they can and can't have, looked at how to do it, followed some Instagram accounts, that kind of thing. So I hope you have found this video helpful. I hope this can add some kind of insight into what a baby-led weaning journey looks like. You'll have seen how much my daughter eats, which is a fair bit. She's eating more and more as each week passes. She obviously didn't eat this much in the beginning, so if you're just starting out, it really will be mouthfuls, and they may not even get anything down them. But their main nutrition up until 1 year old is still milk, so she still has those 3 good bottles a day. And initially when we started, she was having 4 bottles still. We just kind of dropped that bottle over time, maybe around 7.5 months or something. It was just a natural progression. It was whenever she was ready to drop it. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and turn on the bell notifications so you don't miss a video. I've got a naughty doggy here. She wants to go outside. Just wait. And if you want to see more madness, then stick around for our vlogs, which come on Sundays. And I also do fashion videos. I'm exploring my style. It's not really fashion, it's just me playing about. On Wednesday, so go and check those out. And then I do motherhood videos on Fridays. Give this video a like. And from me and my crazy dog, I'll say goodbye. Bye guys.